Hello, awakened beings. Welcome to this channel. Here I do tarot and oracle readings to support you along your spiritual journey. If that interests you, feel free to check out any other content on the channel as well as interact with this video as you feel called to. Today's reading is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Whoop, whoop. Welcome to this reading. This is going to be the next 30 days for you. You know, what can you expect? All right, so let's tune in. I'm just going to take a sip of water for I start. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's tune in. Spirit says bebop. It kind of sounds more like a nickname, I guess. Unless somebody likes, I don't know, as a child or children's music or theme, something that is like some sort of tune. But yeah, bebop. Excuse me. Okay, we got Chariot at the back of the deck. Six of Wands. Six of Wands. Okay, all right. Six of Wands is my card of victory. You know, if you look at this wand, it's actually, it looks more like a sword. So it looks very like heavy or like defined, crisp. So I don't know, it kind of seems like you're triumphant over something in particular, but it could also have to do with like defining a position, defining a relationship, you know, having a title, a new title, I don't know, something like that, because I'm just drawn to like the definition of the wand there, because it looks more like a sword than a wand, which is quite interesting. Also, we have the Chariot here. With the Chariot, this is of course so this is Cancer's major arcana. Normally I don't mention that, but I just mentioned it here, so maybe that's significant. But also with this movement card, it also is symbolic of taking the reins, taking control of something, you know, being more in a leadership or having more of a say in what comes next and where you're going, right? And then we have Three of Swords underneath here. So I do feel like, and Three of Wands. So I do feel like, why do you have two threes here? So you might be seeing 333 as, you know, confirmation from your guides about, you know, your manifestation coming in or your sense of direction where you're going, okay? So that could be confirmation for you. But it does seem, so like we have Three of Wands and we have Three of Swords. So I do feel like you're moving on from some sort of hurt where something fell through, like a particular vision fell through. But it kind of seems like it was in the beginning stages of it, though, with this Ace of Pentacles. Could have involved an air sign here. We got King of Swords at the back of the deck. But it could also just fell apart because of, you know, missing information. Because we have swords. Missing information or lack of communication. Not communicating in time. You know, like meeting some sort of deadline, something like that. But anyways, so Three of Wands and Three of Swords lets me know that you're getting over something that didn't work out, a vision that, you know, wasn't, yeah, it's just that it didn't work out. But I do feel like you're moving on from that and you're feeling like you're making progress, or that you won something better, or just happy and celebrating a next step with something. All right. So you could be interacting with a Libra or have Libra in your chart, because for Libra's reading, my throat was experiencing something, and I'm getting that same thing from you guys as well. So, and we had King of Swords, where I was talking about maybe something wasn't communicated in a timely manner, or there was miscommunication, something missed out. So maybe that's a part of it as well. Okay, clarify Six of Wands. Ooh, mysticism. So, yep, you feel like this situation that you're moving on from, the door that's closed, or, you're feeling triumphant about that. I do feel like. So, it's interesting because, we had Three of Wands, which lets me know that you had a particular vision, or you had an intention with a seed. Like you planted a seed. It could have been, romantically, friendship wise, in career, anything. So you planted some sort of seed. You put some intention into it. It didn't really have everything that it needed to flourish. But you're now feeling like, because you were able to close the door on that, get some closure on that, and kind of move away and do your own thing, you're feeling more triumphant, because that energy is like restored. You're feeling rejuvenated. You're feeling like you won it in the end. So there could be some role reversals here, because I did see Three of Swords, and Three of Swords is not necessarily feeling like they won. So it could be that one person is at a loss because of the situation, and the other one is feeling, really good about it. So take it how it resonates, but yeah, somebody definitely benefited from this thing not working out, or like having their energy and time back, or feeling like relieved. Okay, one more here for Six of Wands. Spirit says with a quickness. So I do feel like, again, we had Ace of Pentacles, which lets me know it was like the beginning stages of something. But, with this Six of Wands looking like a sword to me, it feels like it was cut off very swiftly. Like the moment you saw like a red flag, or the moment you noticed that something was missing or wasn't going to work or whatever, you hit the road. So, yeah. And I can almost hear you saying like, thank God. Yeah, like that. Like, thank God. Like a sigh of relief. Okay. One more card, please. And then we'll move on. Karmic Justice. Okay. So you could be feeling like, this situation turned out in the right way, that you're feeling blessed, that this person is going to get what they deserve, or this situation is going to be what it is. It's very much like, thank you for saving me, or thank you for allowing me this opportunity, and I feel good. It is what it is. Like, I don't know, that's the kind of energy I'm getting. Like you've made peace with it, and that's why you feel like you're winning, because you made some sort of peace with the situation. Okay, I love that. Ten of Wands. Okay, with endings come beginnings. Let's see what's going on. Ten of Wands. But it's also, there's a take a load off. Take a load off. Clarify. Ten of Wands. Rebirth. Yep. Okay. All right now. So yeah, you're freeing yourself from some sort of situation, and it's restoring your energy. You're feeling blessed and triumphant. You could also feel like you've gotten like justice in the situation, like you've gotten the better end of the stick. Like the situation is as good as it's gonna get. Okay. Clarify. Ten of Wands. Workaholic. Okay. So I feel like there could be some sort of changes to, a hobby. And honestly, it could have to do with a relationship or working. Like I said, this is a general reading. So with this card, I do feel like if this is relating to work, it seems like maybe some things were taken off of your plate and you feel like it's a lot more manageable. Or it could also be like, because this situation has ended and you're moving forward, that you're able to free up more time to take on more things and kind of like feel more productive, or like how do I word this? I guess more fulfilled with what you're doing, because with this situation you put energy into it and it just kind of felt like a waste of energy. For some of you it felt that way. For some of you you could have more of a positive look on it. But ultimately, you invested into something, it didn't work, but now you feel like, okay, well, now I have the capacity to invest in something else and work on something else that is shaping me in a different way, or shaping my life in a different way, you know? So it's almost like, oh, great, now I have more time to paint, or now I have more time to focus on this. Essentially, that's what I'm getting. Okay. What else? So yeah. Okay. Seven of Swords. What do we got? For some of you, I feel like you have more time to focus on like content creation. Because, with this workaholic and him painting, I feel like you're constructing, or, just essentially creating something. So it could have to do with your actual work, or it could be more of like a side thing. Or it could just be, something personal to you. But it just kind of seems like I said, like you're telling me, oh, great, I have more time for this thing now. Okay. Clarify Seven of Swords. I do feel like you're making changes to this particular thing, though. Because with the rebirth, it just kind of seems like maybe you're trying something different. Like, it could be familiar to you what you're working on, but you're making some sort of tweaks to it. So again, if you're a content creator, maybe you're trying a new cover image. Maybe you are trying a new schedule or type of content you're making. If it's not related to content, then it could be, literally anything. Maybe you sew and you're trying a new design, a design that you're not super familiar with, or a different color scheme, stuff like that. You feel creative within the next 30 days. Anything else? Oh, that's the main energy I get. You're feeling very creative, and busy. So it's almost like imagine a full calendar, and then like a reoccurring thing that you were meeting with or doing like got canceled, and then you immediately just kind of like filled it with something else. That's how it's showing up in my mind. Okay, clarify Seven of Swords. That also could indicate like if you manage a calendar or something for work, possibly that happening where you have to reschedule something or fill that spot. Maybe you're an event organizer, or something like that. It seems like you might have to fill a time slot or fill a calendar, just add something in. Okay, clarify Seven of Swords, please. Wisdom. I love it. I feel like you're being very diligent within the next 30 days. So the thing about octopus or octopi are that they're very intelligent beings, and I'm very drawn to this eye here, which is the symbol of, like, of course, wisdom, being open and perceptive. That's another thing. They're sentient beings, right? So with the Seven of Swords to me often symbolizes truth coming into light. And if you look at this sword, is very bright, by the way. The color scheme of the rest of the card is pretty dark, but this is a very bright sword. So I do feel like you're coming into, or you're being very wise, you're being very intelligent, you're thinking things through, you're organizing, shifting things around. So you're very much in tune with, your emotions, but also your thoughts as well during this time. So I do feel like you're making decisions that take that sort of skill. Okay, so you're leaning into that. And also, if you look at the octopus, look, they have 8 arms or 8 legs, whatever they are. And so I just see this as like all of your arms are busy. So it looks like you got a full 30 days of stuff that you're doing. Okay, anything else? Honestly, I do feel the energy of a parent here. That's not going to resonate with everyone, but like just with this, I feel like, okay, got to pick up Timmy from practice. And Sally's got an event at school, so we got to be there at 3 o'clock. And then I got to be over here to get my nails done. And then I got to, you know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm getting. And so you're really trying to like maximize your time. And so, like, for an example, when I was talking about octopi being intelligent, right? If you need to be in Puyallup and then you need to go to, oh, oops. If you need to be in a certain city and then you need to be 30 minutes and then there's 15 minutes away. So basically, you're basically planning your drives to where you can like hit everything in a circle or go out one way and come back versus like scattering your trips, if that makes sense. Like you're trying to maximize your time so that you're not just wasting a bunch of gas or like wasting time, or like, you know, that you can hit everything in a way that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Clarify 7 of Swords. Gratitude. Okay, so I do feel you like interacting with, you know, another person or community or, you know, just something like that, but you're feeling grateful for, you know, the things that you're interacting in, what you're engaging with. And again, this brings me back to the Chariot card, where again, the Chariot, you know, somebody's on the go, but they're very much in control of what they're doing. So they're not just like running around with their like a chicken. You know, they're being very strategic, and aware, intentional. So I definitely feel that. You know, you're engaging in things that like matter to you. You're giving your time to things that matter to you, and you're feeling fulfilled by that. All right, let's give you your final card. I do also feel like you could be using your voice a lot, especially if you're the parent that I was picking up on, because you could be like having to repeat yourself to children, or maybe you're doing activities, you know, especially with this workaholic, maybe you're doing activities that involve children or around children or spaces with children, something like that. Not going to resonate with everyone. Okay, final message. Whoa. I think you guys. No, I'm going to do that again. There we are. Okay, doubt. Offering all to the divine doesn't mean negativity never arises, but you can say, free me from this prison of doubt. I cast this burden to you, show me your will, and restore me to faith and confidence. Okay. Well, again, that is your reading, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Pisces. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you watching, and take care. Good luck on your journey.